All right, we're back.
Again,
Yeah,
another
again.
week.
Um, so hope you enjoyed your breakfast, lunch, or however you want to say it or whatnot. Um, Women in Linux, the co-host, Tamika, together and with you. Uh, we are all women in Linux. If you're not part of our group, uh, you need to become part of it. You can find us across social media. I even created a TikTok account. Even created oh yeah, I'll announce that next week. But we got some more new stuff coming up. You can find us on social media, everything Women in Linux, as well as you can start by coming to the website, womeninlinux.org, where you can find us. Where my mouse go? You can find us at womeninlinux.org. You can find out more about us, the community, and so forth. You scroll through, got a couple pictures, old pictures, and stuff like that. You can also click on connect, where you would then be dropped into putting in your email address, and then from there you connect with us through Slack. You do need the Slack app. If you want to shop with us, you can always click on the merchandise, and if you want to donate, you can donate with your money, or donate with your time, or donate while submitting a blog, or talk about your journey, right? It's not all about us, it's about you as well. It's about the community. In terms of a couple of other housekeeping things, if you want to get a one-on-one with us, I didn't mention this on the last one, but you can get a one-on-one with Calendly. Uh, you can also from there get career assessments, resume reviews, so forth. You could also, if you want to look at other training, IT Pro TV is another location where you can get training for various uh, trainings. Let me go to IT Pro TV. You can drop in the promo code for Women in Linux. You can log. I can log in, but it's just various things that you can learn and so forth. Remember, every time you get a certification, you need to continue your education credits, especially those that go after the CompTIA certification. It's going to always be education credits that you got to get and so forth. All right. So that's that. All right. D, anything that I missed? Anything you want to add?
Join us on Slack.
Okay. Join us on Slack.
Join us on
Um,
Slack. That's
also,
where most of our engagement takes place is in our Slack channel. So can you click on connect and
I
they can
did.
see?
I did. I
Oh,
did that. I
I
did that.
totally missed that. That's
Yeah,
because I did
I
two,
was
two
moving.
bitty three. You was moving all the time, doing the moving.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing that I see is join us on Slack. That's where all our communication happens. Our website may be a little bone dry, but it cracks into Slack.
But also inside our Slack, if you don't talk, then no one is gonna talk back. So it's just how it goes. You don't talk, no one's gonna talk back. That's just what it is. All right.
But be sure to say something in there.
Yep. Yep. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? What's going on, Linda? Um, Colton, Evelyn, welcome back. Miss Phoenix, welcome back. Latanya, welcome back. See Kev. Oh, see Casey, I see you up there. Marina, how you doing? All right, so we got a busy show today. I want to mention some stuff. I want to bring some stuff to light here. Sky computing. Tamika, what is that?
What is that, Tamika?
Tamika, what is that?
What is that? What do you have up your sleeve for us this week with
Sky
Sky
computing.
Computing?
All right, here we go.
Let me get this screen up for us.
Sky computing. Right, there's an article out there. There's also a an actual uh not a lecture but a um research paper out there about what sky computing is, where it comes from. Let me blow this up. I feel like my screen is dark. Lighten that up. I feel like my screen is dark. But there's plenty of information. Let's get into it. All right, Sky Computing. All right, so enterprise software roadmap for Sky Computing, basically a standardization across the different clouds that are out there. So standardized across AWS, standardized across GCP, standardized across basically basically take become cloud agnostic, right? So basically take in another layer into the realm. So uh, is this new? Absolutely. Is there been research on it? Absolutely. All right. So cloud computing, one of the fastest growing enterprise IT markets. Studies say it will grow from 374 billion in 2021 to 832 billion in 2025, right? So those that you want to create your own cloud or your own data center, there's room out there for you. It's possible. It takes money though, right? So we know about the cloud computing. We've heard about the multi-cloud strategies and so forth. But sky computing, right? It's an effort to swing the pendulum back to towards modern standardization. A widely read paper from UC Berkeley, professors Ion, I guess, Stotica and Scott Schinicker describes the technical challenges that must overcome to arrive to sky computing, a notion of utility that was mentioned back in 1961. Sky computing represents a more commoditized version of cloud computing, where cloud platforms are more like a utility such as telephone service. So like I pick it up, I don't know what I'm using underneath. It could be anything underneath that. And that's what they're talking about. And you can read this paper here if you are feeling uh fancy and free. It's only 7 pages to go through and read it. But this just to show you there's been research put behind this. Let me blow this up some here. And so here's where they're talking about here. All right, so basically you have a data center one, data center two, data center three, data center four, data center five, cloud A provider, cloud B provider, and then a peer agreement between, and then here you got a service director accounting and charging, which is your intercloud layer. And that's what they're calling it, an intercloud layer. So back over here, when we get into it, what I wanted to show you was this evolution of cloud computing. And you can look here and it tells you as we go on, the technical level becomes higher, right? Cloud native, to be cloud native, they're pushing that on the high end, multi cloud native, not just cloud native, but multi cloud native, right? Uh, and then the management level as we increase over that, right? So it says cloud software modernization depends on the tools from each, I mean, or from cloud service provider, so each cloud service provider. And so then they talk about the technical level, the management level, and here they talk about companies are moving towards service stacks and software that rely on services owned and managed by different teams. This dimension describes the level of software abstraction available for disintegration of monolithic software, right? And microservices. And then the management says this describes the level of management needed for key building blocks, hardware, software, operating system. Low means the building blocks are self-managed by user. High means that the building blocks are managed by a cloud service provider or an application. And this is on the management level here, right? So what does that mean here? Managing a multi-cloud native clouds, I guess you could say. And that's a double negative there. But here a little bit more. They talk about the cloud enabled, cloud native, software as a service, and multi cloud, right? And they gave some examples of Anyscale, Cloud, BigQuery, and Omni. And then just talk about software as a service. We talked about this earlier, Databricks and Snowflake. Then they talk about cloud native, AWS, RDS, Cassandra. And then they talk about over here infrastructure as a service, storage compute, right? So you can see here cloud enabled, cloud native. You can actually look at this as a training pipeline, right? You can look at this as infrastructure as a service, understanding GitOps, understand data as a service. You can kind of get into AI, machine learning here, and then how would you do all of this across a multi-cloud strategy, right? So you can look at this as your guide for training, if you want to look at it in that way. All right. So then they go on. Oh, let me get some power here. Then they go on to talk about models have impacted GrayDB, a hypothetical database company, and then they get a little bit more into it here about it. But you can read on this. D can drop the link. But through the years, they talk about just just really where we're the evolution. Analytical DB run on premise, analytical DB run on cloud platforms, then cloud native analytical DB, and then a SaaS product, and now we got a multi-cloud native SaaS. And what would that look like, and how would you manage that, right? So here they said software will increasingly be able to leverage multiple clouds. Stateless apps will be the first to become cloud native. Stateful applications will continue to be SaaS first. We will see an increase among cloud service providers. We will. There are many parameters to consider when choosing a cloud provider. Some parameters are related to cost, others are related to availability and throughput, and others may be related to security, right? While others may be focused on latency and location, and they left out security. They should include that. Alongside these factors is the realization that different workloads and different verticals might represent large enough opportunities to warrant their own specialized cloud service providers. Early examples of this is, I guess, Axion, Zoni, financial service, Vast, and Genesis, GPU cloud enabled platforms. There's a neural network cloud that is out there. Is it Neutron? I think it may be Neutron. And then POD, with the HPC cloud platform, right? So Pod is the HPC cloud platform, and many more. So that is new and up and coming off the press for this. There's also a video that goes along with understanding a little bit more about sky computing. Um, I just wanted you to be aware of this. Hold on, let me click on this link here. Hold on, it's playing in my thing. Let me get it on YouTube here. Here we go. All right, so here it is. This was from May 28th. They talk about from cloud computing to sky computing. A little research on that, which means already money being thrown at this right here. Yep, creating data pipelines that span across these clouds. How to secure, again, compliance is code, infrastructure is code, security is code, and also the policies wrapped around each one of these clouds. Like one company may be using a multi-cloud strategy, but not everybody in the company should have access to all those clouds. So how do we make sure that they don't get access to those, right? So breaking down that access and barrier level and so forth, right? So just wanted you to have that. Let me know what your thoughts are. Anybody backstage yet? D, did you drop the link?
Nobody is backstage, but I also want to let people know, like, okay, we talk about the cloud and the interesting things of what's going on in sky computing and how they wrap these names up. But all of this is powered by servers that are in data centers on the ground. So that's our foundational elements here at Women in Linux. Data centers, servers, they're not going away anytime soon. So when you hear the cloud, know what it is attached to.
And announcement that just came over.
What is the
Congratulations to
announcement?
congratulations to everybody that helped us get here. You are now can now be monetized. So just came out.
No.
Yeah.
Did we make our 4,000 hours?
Hold on. Let me read. Make sure I'm right.
Please do.
Oh, it says go to the YouTube studio and check the next steps.
So we got an official email.
Yeah, you just got an
Thank
official
you,
email. Yeah,
everybody.
just
Thank
got it.
you.
Just I
This
mean,
has
just got
been
it
the
at
longest
2:17.
4,000 hours ever. It's been so long. So, and we haven't really gotten into YouTube until this year. So we're proud of ourselves, and you guys should be proud as well for
Yo,
showing up and showing
showing up
out.
and listening. Right, showing
Yeah.
up and listening. Right. So you ready for the next one? We're gonna congratulate at the end too. Y'all ready for the next one?
Yay. And it's our birthday this year. And it's our 5 year anniversary. We are what? Man.
Thank you. Thank you for being
Oh,
watching.
thanks for binge watching. We appreciate it.
All right.
We definitely appreciate it.
So this is new and up and coming as well too. I'm trying to get this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get you ahead of the curve. So those that wanna know how can I get in tech, and I've been doing hardware. Well, hardware goes back into working, not necessarily working in the data center, but understanding the data center, understanding hardware, understanding how to troubleshoot. There's also the other side, those that have been in the healthcare industry, and how do I transition into tech. That I talked about it. I don't know if I talked about it last week or I'm gonna talk about it today. Well, they're looking for they're looking for they're looking for 1,000. It was 1,000 people or 10,000 people for healthcare IT. And what that looks like. I'm looking through here and see if I got it on here. No, I don't have it on here.
You did, earlier, it was something about 10,000 people. I'm not sure if it was a healthcare IT, but it was something. It escapes my memory right now, but it was
Uh,
10,000 people. And then it was within the DOD space.
That was the DoD space, but healthcare there. No, that was 100,000. Yeah,
Oh, 100,000.
there's
Oh,
100,000 companies for AI and machine learning and the supply chain. You missed the last video, the 11:30 show. Go
go
back and
back
check
and
that
watch
out.
it.
While I talked about the DoD and supply chain, AI and machine learning, we talked about data. We're gonna be start talking about data lakes and so forth. Like again, when it comes down to Linux and infrastructure and AI machine learning, they all run together. And some people go specialize in certain things, and some people keep it general. But as you can see, a lot of these companies, especially when we start talking about multi-cloud, polygot, understanding infrastructure, architecture, how to architect things, it's one of those things. All right, so I want to mention this one. All right, legal tech makes its case with venture capitalists, tops 1 billion this year. So legal tech, Tamika, what is that? What is legal tech? All right, so let me blow this up some. All right, let me expand my screen. All right, so legal tech, legal world. Sometimes glacial pace does not obviously lend the industry to being disrupted by technology. And remember, I showed you last week where they're talking about lawyers are going away. Remember that? Remember I told you about that? It says, well, when you look at the cloud and other technology, the legal industry has been resistant to it. It said, but now you're seeing people have an increasing appetite for this technology. Legal tech companies, right
Legal
here,
Zoom
legal tech,
is a legal tech. You can
legal
get
tech
all your
companies.
documents. But lawyers still, I'm all for legal tech, but lawyers still need to interpret those lawyer words because it
Well,
is not the same language.
well, hold on. It says legal tech companies have already seen $1 billion in venture capital investments so far this calendar year, according to Crunchbase. That number smashes the 510 million invested last year, an all-time high of 989 million in 2019, right? And so here they just show like the venture funding in legal tech. But I know you're like, well, what companies are out there already? Well, here we go. The companies that are out there already are called is one in San Francisco based Checker R, a platform that helps employers screen job seekers through initiating background checks. They raised $250 million in the Series E, and they're worth $4.6 billion as of last month. Another one is Rocket Lawyer, 223 million in a venture round in April, and then a Boston-based company, uh, on-demand remote electronic notary. So again, people are talking about they get notarized and stuff. Here we are. Now
I'm gonna go look at it and sign up. I'm a notary.
electronic. They raised $130 million in a Series D evaluation to be reported and evaluated at $760 million. Right.
That's a
So let's
lot
go
of
click
bread.
on let's go click on Notarize, and let's go click on Rocket Lawyer, and let's go click on Check R. These are just the three that they mentioned. I'm sure there are probably more. It says this is mainly a paper based industry. The founder and the CEO. But can you imagine all these documents now being uploaded, scanned using AI machine learning to see how cases were done and so forth, from a particular company and so forth. Like, all right, so I'm gonna keep going, and I'm gonna go to the links. Uh, do. See, there's no doubt COVID provided huge tailwinds for the legal tech growth," said Jack Newton, a co-founder of a Vancouver legal tools called CLIO, Clio, I guess, which raised $110 million and has been evaluated at 1.6 billion. All right. And I keep going, but this right here is the meat and potatoes right here.
What is the meat and potatoes? Let's make that bigger for the people.
All right. All right. So while the legal community has traditionally been slow adopters of new technologies, Sunak said that is starting to change as general counsels are becoming a cloud first generation and know the importance of things such as data insights that can help predict outcomes. Again, like I said before, just as data and AI has changed marketing, sales, and finance, the legal community is now catching on. So that's what I'm saying. So this gets back into like some of those cases. Like we can even talk about in the case of some people, in recent times before BLM, you know, people being found guilty on things. But if we start to use AI and stuff like that, some of that data is flawed, right?
Yeah.
So we have to be careful when we're talking about this. So there's still going to need to be somebody to say, okay, well, let's look at what it analyzed, who's putting the rules and the regulations in here, because there's going to have to be rules and regulations around this, right?
Hmm.
Because there's already, we've already seen that the AI from Facebook found black men as primates, right? So what does that mean when we start talking about we're getting to the crux of legal papers and outcomes and so forth. So those that are lawyers, I just have your hand and start talking to the people that are in the big data AI realm and what those legal ramifications are. There's a professor, Evelyn, I forget her last name. She's on my LinkedIn. I she goes over crypto and so forth, but I had to look her up again and give you her name because she actually talks about this too,
Yeah,
right?
I have a friend that's in law school right now, and I mean, a lot of things that they do in those cases are based on memory. So, can you imagine just putting in some keywords and being able to cross reference cases and things like that? It's a lot of reading, a whole lot of reading, a whole lot of note taking. So, this is definitely game changing.
Yep. So Wilder, who's led firm investments in legal tech startups, notarized in Oakland, California, legal discovery platform Everlaw. So that's another one we need to look up. Everlaw added that many parts of the $750 billion global legal services market revolves around issues and process technologies can make it significantly better, right? So here we are, right? Here we go. Like, go help the lawyers, right?
Right. Think about just personal injury and all of those things, those repetitive think tasks that they have to do and file all the time by those specific dates.
Yep. It says there's no Goliath, right? There's no Amazon, there's no Google in the space, but it's saying with no large incumbents in the space, how investors may see returns becomes a popular question. So it's brand new. So when it's not like it's like we're peaked out already. It's particularly brand new. It says, however, perhaps more interesting to some startups is the legal tech space even saw an IPO last year with the Austin Texas based Disco going to the New York Stock Exchange in July. The company market cap is 2.8 billion. All right. And so then they give a little overview of these companies here. But let's go check out their website. Uh let's go look at Notarize. Let's go here and check out their site. So here it is. Legally signed and notarized documents 100% online. Boom. You know I'm nosy, so you know I gotta go look at jobs, right? You know
So
I'm
you
nosy.
do.
Let's look at jobs. Let's see what we got here. Hard Works, Solutions. Okay, they may be at the bottom. Let's go down here to the bottom. See. All right. Case studies, careers. Um, join the team. Start here. Apply to notarize. Apply to open roles. So I guess this would be the open roles here. All right. So okay. Senior customer success, senior partnership customer success manager with Adobe, an Android back engineer, DevOps, iOS, QA, software. These are all remote. Information security architect, security and privacy governance, partner training program manager. On the legal side, they a director of fraud prevention, public affairs communication, senior contract manager, senior e-commerce product counsel, notary operations data analyst, partnerships, people, products, sales. Have a whole slew, right, of stuff.
They
Uh,
got
let's
plenty opportunities.
Yep. So let's go over here and let me go back down to the bottom. Yep. I just want to see faces. That's what I want to see. I want to see faces. I want to go and check out about. All right. Here's the CEO and founder Pat Kinsel. Here's the team. Right. Look, all I gotta do is scroll.
All
All
you
you
gotta do is scroll.
All you gotta do is scroll. I won't say nothing, but all you gotta do is scroll, right?
Let it sizzle in your spirit.
Let it sizzle in your spirit. Shout out to Country Wayne. All right. So I just wanted to show you what I discovered, where we can put footprints at, right? Where we could put people at, right? Um, so notarize, check them out, look at what they're doing.
I
Um,
mean, every opportunity they have is remote, so that says a lot about the company.
So they're a remote first company, right? And then check them out. It could be something that you could do. I don't know if you could do it on the side. I don't know. Maybe they have partnerships. You become someone that's a advocate for them, and you use that as part of your business to get stuff notarized. But and you sell, you like, yep, I can. We can get that notarized. Let it sizzle in your spirit. All right. The next one was Rocket Lawyer. Let's go check out Rocket Lawyer. All right. So now let's jump down here. It looks like they do lease agreements, real estate, quick claim deeds, family and personal, business and contracts. Oh. Uh-oh. We got some representation there. Uh-oh. Rocket Lawyer on call, attorney in practice since 1999. Let's see. Okay, let's jump down here and check out let's check out careers and about us. Let's go about us first, and then we'll check out careers. All right, about us first. All right, about us. Oh, no pictures. You know when they start hiding.
The executive team is over there in the board.
Or here.
No, on the menu that you were just at on the right side, the left hand
Oh,
side.
okay. Charlie Moore, Rocket Lawyer. Look at old Charlie.
Charlie.
All right, Charlie Moore is the founder and CEO of Rocket Lawyer Incorporated. His experience as an attorney representing startups exposed him to both high cost and high value of great legal advice. So he started Rocket Lawyer to deliver high value legal services at a price nearly everyone can afford. Rocket Lawyer is one of the most widely used legal services in the world with operations in the United States and the United Kingdom. Charlie is engaged, blah, blah, blah. He is a former U.S. Naval Academy and University of Berkeley. He served as a U.S. naval officer in the Gulf War. Charlie currently serves as chairman of the board of directors of Rocket Lawyer and executive board of Tech for America. And then here's his chief revenue officer, vice president, senior vice president of, I guess, the Americas, vice president of product operations, VP, so forth and so on, as you can see, right? All right. So then let's go over here to careers. We popped that open over here. Join the team. So they offer a United unlimited PTO, health plan, 401k, life insurance, flexible spending account. They don't offer HSA. Commuter transit, Mac or PC, monthly on-site masseuse sessions, weekly Red Friday catered lunches, fully equipped kitchen and employee dining, company sponsored events both on and off site.
So this sounds like typical Silicon Valley
Yeah,
company stuff.
yep. So let me look and see. Okay, here it is. I had to click there to join the team. All right, a little small and blow it up. Customer service, design, product manager, product
Some
design manager,
DevOps, cloud.
DevOps, director of cloud platforms. Uh, this would be a good opportunity to talk about sky computing using Rocket Lawyer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lead cloud database engineer, mobile software, senior front end, full stack, Salesforce. So they're backed by Salesforce. They got back end software engineer, back end full stack, software development engineer in test, uh, quality engineer, finance opportunities, uh, recruiting, legal opportunities, freelance attorney, freelance lawyer, paralegal, marketing, product, sales. All right. All right. So that was Rocket Lawyer. Our next one is Checker R. Let's check out Checker R. Build a better future with fair background checks. All right. Let's go and check out. See, they got API. They got an API that they have that you can use. So you can get somebody to write an API for your company to do and pull background checks for them. So now, you start thinking about, well, if we need to say women and lenders need to do a background check or whatnot, we can just write, use their API, get the information, boom, send off whatever we need and be done. Right. So let's see. Company, let's go about us. And then I'll hit
And
the
if you look back at the companies that are using this particular service, the Instacart and the Lyft, when you set up to go ahead and be a driver for them or a shopper, how quickly you come back, whether you've been approved or not.
mm-hmm.
This could be this check R.
Right.
Checker is probably what it's pronounced.
Hey, check records, I guess. Check R.
Checker.
All right. So here's what they're looking like over here. VP of Engineering. CTO, co-founder, VP of engineering, CEO, and co-founder. Right, right here, these two guys. All right, so now let's go back and check out uh, their jobs, which may be at the bottom. All right, so career, let's see, solutions, resources. Here it is right here, small print. Let's see, open positions. All right, back end software engineer, back end software full stack, business recruiter, data analyst, engineering manager, full stack. These are in Denver, Colorado, and San Francisco and Orlando. Strategic accounts, dispute, inside sales rep, sales manager, marketing, a slew of Salesforce jobs, senior, looking for a lot of senior positions, technical account. I'm going to assume the folks that are on the back end are handling most of the work. I would not be surprised if there would be some need for SRE here. So, uh, consuming and building APIs, experience with building microservices, SaaS, HR, enterprise typically Salesforce, Workday, SAP, data modeling for multi-tenant, speaking English, fast paced, flexible PTO, home office stipend, so forth. So that is check R. Next one is CILO. Um, the number one legal software for clients, cases, building, and more. They have their pricing listed here: $39, $59, $99, $125, and that's on a per user base, and then the enterprise, right? And then add on. I guess you get some add-ons, and you can schedule a demo. All right, let's jump down here to about and then careers. About, let's check them out. Is this careers? It may be careers. This may be careers. Let's go. Oh, that's about. Let me see. They don't. I don't see anything. They may have something else down here. Support, subscribe, site map, contact us, our mission, about us. Don't have it. Oh, here we go. Leadership. All right. There's Sarah Bencourt. Leadership at every level. Let you know. This is why we talking about. We got to be in the game. All right. Roles. Let me know if you like what you're seeing. Let's see. They use check out how you like the service. All right. So we got compliance. We got customer onboarding. See all remaining. Data engineer, DevOps, co-op, director of engineering, based out of Toronto. Fraud and risk, IT automation developer, people systems and analytics specialist, um, senior content designer, senior Ruby developer, senior software developer back end, senior software developer full stack, a co-op there, staff Ruby developer, and their model looks like they're going after something that you can look up on Levels FY. So look up, go on at Levels FY and see if you see these companies. See if you see these companies over there, and see if you got some information on them. See if they got some information on their salaries. All right, the next company is Everlaw. Let's go back up. I went too quick. Law firms, corporations, state and local federal government agencies rely on Everlaw to simplify their complex legal work. Lime, Juniper, Snowflake, AP, Greenberg, Charig, Kelger, Brown, Hill, Ritter, Travis Smith. They got a whole list. All right, let's jump down here and do what we do. Um, let's go careers, and then let me see if they got like an about us. They got to contact us. They don't have an about us, which is fine. All right, so DevOps, Director of Analytics, Engineering Manager, Software, Data, Director of Governance, Risk, and Compliance, Direct Demand Generation Manager, Operations, HR Coordinator, Technical Recruiter, Sales Development Representative, and then Security, Senior Security Engineer. Right, it's in Oakland. The job's in Oakland. Right, so that was my fun. That's not all we got though, but that was our fun. All right. So we talked about that. Um, since we ended on security, let's bring security back. So leaked documents reveal Amazon plan to bring Alexa home security to your car. Home security to your car. So they're going to talk about. It's called Alexa. I think it's called Guard or Security Guard, from what I remember about the article. Yeah, Guard. Alexa, Amazon discusses bring Alexa Guard, a home security feature to vehicles. Amazon is trying to boost Alexa's ubiquity, engagement, and monetization opportunities. Auto vehicles are one of the many areas where Amazon is looking to expand Alexa's use cases. So Alexa in your car, they have already started talking to BMW. Let me jump down here so you can see the companies right here. Added vehicle security features to Alexa highlights Amazon ambition to make its digital voice assistant ubiquitous, including in the home and on the go. Right. You already have the new products. You know, already know about Amazon coming out with their smart TV. Well, I talked about that a few weeks ago. And here's a variety of new products that they're coming out with. But let's look and see where they're going. Who's actually using this? Amazon recently launched a Fire TV for the car. You got Fire TV for the car. All right. Then let's talk about here we go right here. Alexa is available for dozens of car models across brands from BMW, Ford, Toyota. GM announced on Wednesday a partnership with Alexa for its OnStar security system. Right? Alexa, lock my car door. Alexa, play this. Alexa, play that. Now, basically, what, and I don't think you all realize this. Your car is a computer, right? But do you realize that your car is has AI machine learning inside your car? Do you realize that? Do you realize that? Um, capturing, hey, Alexa play this, Alexa play that. Well, what are the people who live in area code 30349 listening to throughout the day from 11 to 5? What artists and what stations are they listening to? Oh, hey, radio stations, we want to advertise these things in your particular audience because we realize from the data that we got that your people listen to these artists, these things, and generally speaking, from what we've learned using our data, that these people like X, Y, and Z, right? That's where we're already at, but even more so now, you're getting it from the car, not just from where you're driving to, but what you're talking about. I mean, you act like they don't hear you in your car already. So,
That's another thing to disconnect. Alexa, no.
right, all right. So I just wanted to show you, excuse me, where we're headed.
Where we're at. we're here. If they're
Right.
talking about it, it's already here. It's been in R&D. It is ready to be released out into the world. You saw those car manufacturers that GMC just announced it. Oh, it's already here.
Look,
Look for
Volvo.
I say look in your, what would you say, 2023 model cars?
No, I say it's already here. I say it's already here. I'd say like this right here. Volvo, for example, has indicated that bringing Alexa development in house would delay a launch by 12 months. The document said, but it also says up here, it says the long time to integrate and launch with automakers is particularly a pain point, as some companies may take more than 2 years to launch. So maybe for some of them,
Yeah.
mostly due to their own challenges. That's their own challenges, not the fact that the that is not ready. It's just
Right.
their own
I mean,
challenge.
if you think of it, the cars being on the line, it's like, okay, now where do we integrate this into our process?
Mm-hmm.
And then we already know about the chip shortage.
Yep. Yep. They'll be hiring for that technology too. You're right. All right. Let me keep going. And let me close out some of these screens for my computer crash on. Just will crash on. And close out some of that. Sorry. And if anybody want to come up, D
I
drop the
know I
link.
dropped the join stream link again. Everybody's been warned.
All right. David Adelman. I don't know if you know who he is. Built a $1.6 billion fortune on campus housing and private equity. Now he's making an aggressive VC style bets on private jets, vodka, and more. And we just talked about planes. I just talked about planes on one of my meetings at work about me knowing a couple of people who build planes, and you know they do sailing, not just go on a sailboat, but like really like do sailing and regattas and so forth, and kids who go to college on a sailing scholarship, that kind of stuff. And the wife is a pilot and he's a pilot, so just people that we know. Right, so he's worth 1.6 billion. Insider talked to him to long time colleagues to find out what makes him an aggressive entrepreneur. But let's get into what he's looking at. Right, the liquor brand is housed under his family office. Gee, what's that sound like? Remember we had that conversation?
We just had the conversation. I mean, I've sent the videos out to my family. What does that mean? That means that the money that you get is all funded by the family.
It's internal. Right? Being your own banker. I talked about that. Right. All
Within
right.
your family. So your mother, your father, your cousins, your brothers, your nieces, your nephews, you guys are the business.
Right. It says also he's made more than 60 investments into football, the chain of juice presses, and a small staple lids. Lids been around forever. I remember when lids came out. Let's see. I want to get into his jets. I didn't finish reading the article. Oh, here it is. This it right here. All right. So indoor farming. See, retailer barbecues, the indoor farming company Arrow Farms, in a SPAC merger. But I want to get into the jets because
I
that's what
wonder where he's from.
Okay. Here we go. See. Alderman usually bets on brands that likely appeal to young tenants of campus apartments or services he uses himself, like charter jets. Let's see, and let's see if we can. It's another link on here. Okay, NetJets. I figured that. I wasn't sure if it was gonna be NetJets. He used to be a frequent flyer with the private aviation company Marquis Jet, founded by Ditcher, and bought a Berkshire Hathaway NetJets. I don't know if anybody is familiar with NetJets. They're expensive, right? So just keep in mind, like, follow where people are investing, right? what they're doing and how they're making their moves. Right, family office is the key right there. All right, so I keep mentioning this. I'm gonna bring it back up, but now we're gonna get into some um a little bit more about what am I talking about. Edge computing has a bright future, even though no one is quite sure what it looks like. This came out on September the 21st, right? And they're talking more or less of like, where is it going? So here, another high-profile edge application transport needs a very different approach. An aircraft can generate a terabyte of performance and diagnostic data in one single flight, which outstrips the capabilities of in-flight datacoms and really the capabilities of the cloud because you're transporting that much data at a time. So what ends up happening is these machines or these aircraft carriers have this data on flight on the actual on the aircraft carrier, right? Little boxes that can go. So this is again edge computing, IoT, those satellites that we talked about with Starlink, right? Um, each sector touted a natural fit for edge, IoT, digital health, manufacturing, engineering, logistics defies the idea of edge as a single discipline. As the OpenStack project says, edge computing next steps in architecture, design, and testing. I talk about OpenStack and OpenShift and Kubernetes and K3s at the edge, right? What's also going to be there is networking, right? And your favorite security development and management at the edge, right? Because of edge architectures are evolving, the extension of DevOps principle into infrastructure provides more visibility into how things are working. The adoption of common open source components and approaches to prove themselves, and the practical advantages of rapid reconfiguration and deployment. This right here will kill you if you don't have your testing, your infrastructure as code, compliance as code. If everybody isn't on board, this could kill, make or break a project, right? So understanding how that works. Um, Here's another piece to this. They said this meshes well with the increased performance of cross-platform development tools, allowing device agnostic approach that fits well with economics of the edge need and its need to cultivate diverse systems. So AI, those neural networks, HP, first message from the International Space System to at Microsoft Azure, EKS Anywhere, Open Compute Project. Let's talk about that and so forth. And so this article keeps going on. I'm not going to read everything out of this article because I got so much more. But I just wanted to give you the insight when we're talking about where Linux touches and what we're looking at. We talked about the lawyers. You saw that stuff on the back end, the cloud, everything. We're gonna keep going. So I found this link here. It's actually two links. There's a three-part episode you should all go check out. Um, and it's called The Future of Work. This was released on September the 1st. It's three episodes of this. I have not watched all three episodes. I got the two episodes. But they talk about the new industrial revolution in episode one. And here is episode two. Um, but it's a three-part series. You can see right here the future of work episode two, future proof. I think this may be episode two. Did I get that one? Yep. And then there's episode three right here. The future of work episode three, changing work, changing workers. All right, and then they talk about all right a little bit right here in the description. Companies rethink the need to even have offices or have to redesign places of work. The tradition work shift 9 to 5, 5 days a week is losing relevance. Many companies are adopting remote work models spawned by the pandemic and as their new normal. Does the nation need new policies of guaranteed basic income or a drastic rethinking of social safety nets? Wednesday through September the 15th at 10 to 9, they're talking about this, and this is a video that they released, and then they got the full episodes and stuff like that. So I would check these out. I haven't looked at episode 3. D could drop the links in there and whatnot, and drop a one if what we're talking about even interests you or it makes sense, right? Because when you start looking at these, they're hour long, but you get so much information about where things are going. You can look in in the comments too, right here. I know I'm now more encouraged about the future for myself and my daughter and her family. FYI, most women do not make 200 to 300,000 dollars a year. I don't know. It depends. UBI is what is needed after watching all 3 parts of the documentary. Just go through and check it out. Check out the documentary and let me know. Leave comments on our video. Let us know what you thought on that. Right. Um, let's see. So I was doing some research and I wanted to get into, and I'm gonna dive off into AI and machine learning on the next episode. But I want to show you machine learning engineer salary. This is just a average. This is pretty low to me, but they're just talking about the average here. But if you scroll down, I hope you can see these numbers. Um, eBay, 386. Wish, 256, and I got a video going. Let me close these because there's a video going. 256, Capital One 216, Tapjoy 214, Nextdoor 210, and then if you do show more, they have more companies down here to talk about. Highest paying cities for machine learning. They just got the cities right here. I think these are just on an average. They're not um all the job. They're not all the jobs because I clicked on it. You see it jumped up to 209, but then you see the companies, right? And then they break a breakdown of that, right? So just wanted to give you that. Part time last year. Q4, you funny. Don't we put my business in these streets? We put my business in these streets. All right. All right. So DevSecOps average in the US 2021. This is from talent.com. Again, I've shown you numbers all over, right? They got a median of 140 at $71 an hour. I can go on Indeed.com right now and pull up jobs that are paying 120 to 140. I think I got some in my email now per hour, right? So again, depends on where you want to be at, what you're looking at when you're talking about these. I think these are low, but that's just me when we're talking about this. All right. So I also went one step further and said, okay, what do we look like? DevOps levels FY. You can see here you got 314 to 340. There was 20 entries there. Here, let me see if they tell me 2 entries from 470K to 496. They're just showing you the bulk of people here, but again, the salaries ranging from 800 to 496 to 522. And this again based on the company, based on I need to log in, based on the company, based on location.
Did you say 800 or 80K?
80K.
Okay.
80K. 80K to 496, 522. These are not my numbers. That I'm not skewing anything. I'm just showing you facts.
We
So
know how
somebody,
you do. You got high hopes for the people.
I no, I don't. It's not the fact that I have high hopes. I just want you to know what's out there and what people
Jokes. I
saying.
kid. I kid.
what the people say.
I kid. You know, people believe that we always come with the numbers because people don't
Look,
believe you. Look, see right here. Where are these jobs on Mars? We look at all of the jobs. Like we do it
yeah,
at 11:30, and we come back at 2, and we look at all the
I look
jobs.
at all the jobs.
We look
See,
at
okay,
all the
look, let
jobs.
me. I'm gonna tell y'all like this. This is free game. Yeah, this is free game.
Is this a notepad moment?
Yeah, this is free game. Look, you need to search the companies. You need to find out where where people got their beginnings from, right? Then you also need to go and search and find out where they're going. See, you can't look at where they're at right now, right? You got to look at where they're going, because where they're going, meaning that you could be introducing some new concepts, meaning you can be introducing some new trains of thoughts. You can again be the solution when you walk in, and that means so many things. But also, when you're looking at this, you also have to look at, okay, how do I fit into this? Am I going to be there a year, 2 years, 3 years? Am I going to be there 4 years? What is going to be my game plan? What can I get out of this company? Because they're gonna get something out of you. They got to get something out of you. You got to get something back. It's a give and take. So you need to be looking at these companies for like, okay, how can I, if I want to get an AI machine learning and this company don't even have that, what's gonna be the chances I get into AI and machine learning, and what's gonna be the chances that I can introduce that, because I need to staff up for that, and do I know enough to even help them do that, right? So you got to look at these things, and if you are going to introduce something like that, you have to give it a ROI. You have to sit down and do probably like a case study. I don't know how many of you have actually sat down and wrote a not necessarily a case study, but just a value add. Like, if we do these things, here's what we need to staff. Here's what we need to get to X, Y, and Z. Here's what I see you don't have, and you can get all of that in an interview, right? You can get all of that in an interview, right? And then go from there, because people are always going to ask, well, what do you bring to the table? And it's not necessarily them being snide. Sometimes it is, but the other part is like, sometimes they just don't know what they don't have. Sometimes they just don't know, right? I have, because you're 200 years old. Yeah, you get what you negotiate, right? If you like, what movie that come from? You don't do no work, you don't get none. Oh, that's what it is. That come from what's the one with Sugar Bear and what's the girl that Queen Latifah and them, when they was robbing the banks?
Set it off.
Yeah, set it off. When old boy was like, "You don't do no work, you don't get nothing." T Bird, that's who said that. He actually died. Shout out T Bird. He was actually a nice guy. All right. So let's keep going. All right. For those of you that got Business Insider, I think I might have put it in here. Did I do it? Yes. This is the link that I was looking for the other week. Where you can come in and you can search, and I posted this in Slack before. Where you can search companies. They got a whole slew of companies. You can search companies and you can search job titles, right? And you can go in and get your return. So for now, let's just type Netflix. All right. Median lowest salary 54, highest is 1.2 million. They kind of go over a little average here, but you can change these things if you want to, right? You can play
So that
around with
should
it.
answer somebody's question.
Huh?
That should answer somebody's question that was in the
I don't
comments.
think it was a question. I think it was just more of a joke. Let me see. Let's go Google and drop a company if you want me to look up a company while I'm here. All
And
right.
I dropped the link for the stream. We have no takers for the stream.
Oh man, that's sad.
I
All
know.
right.
Drop it one more time.
All right. 220 to 2.2 million. This is Google. Data center technician, and then they got a link where I can just branch off on that. But here, the data center technician at Google, 520 Pride Creek, Oklahoma. And then they just got different positions here, right?
Somebody said drop Salesforce.
Salesforce. Let me go.
Mm-hmm.
They have it. Salesforce. Okay, which one? Because they got.
It's one word.
Let me try one word. Which one though? Let me see. Oh, that's a job title. Hold on. We'll go back to company. All right. So Salesforce, we're going anywhere. They got 36 to 240K on
Oh,
here.
people are dropping. They dropping companies.
Indeed. Indeed does all right. So does Pinterest. See, they don't have Indeed. Yep. Let me look and see if they got Pinterest. Nope. But they do have Capital One.
And somebody said Bearcom, Bearcom.
So there we go with Capital One. Let me see if they have them. No, they got Bridgewater and Associates, but they don't have a Bearcom. Salesforce Bearcom. Yep. Um, but let me look up Amazon, Facebook. 73K to 1.9 million. You always want to know like who is that minimum software engineer, 1.9 million. Vice president of product design. Uh, we drop down product manager, director, engineer, director. See somebody in Miami, Latin America making 330. The agency director, 330. Right. So if we click on the software engineer right here, you can go back to levels FY and start talking to people. Same way you can do it blind. So now we got 2.2 million at Google. Robinhood 320K on the max. Brex 310. Nvidia looks around about 350 for Nvidia. Um, no, it don't provide experience in years. It's just giving us an overview, just giving you a mean, a low, a medium, and a high salary. If you want that kind of detail, you should probably go over here to level FYI to get that kind of breakdown. Like over here, you can type in Netflix right here, and you can see like what they may have, right? And how they break their stuff down, the different levels and so forth, right? I'm not logged in um on this one, but I do have an account, right? And then they tell you the levels, right? So they got a level breakdown, a level three is software, blah blah blah. They break all that down. That's not what Business Insider does. They just kind of give you some guesstimates, some ranges to see where you're at, right? Just to see what you're looking like, right? Especially when you want to do a comparison, like you want to do, see, dev, ops, architect, right? So they got 120 to 100 to 120 to 140. And that's in Bethesda, Maryland. But I can go online and show you where an architect make more than that, right? So like I say, it's just a general range, just something to give you some foot into. So if somebody came at you and said, "Hey, we're offering you a job for 90,000," and you can go across and say, "Oh well," just give you some leverage, and then start doing. Like I say, this is why I tell y'all you have to get and look at multiple job recs and look and see what they're requiring so you can say, okay, well, give yourself a range or you can fall into and so forth, right? And don't be afraid to ask questions to people online in different locations, right? So that's what that is. All right. So let me hop down here And oh yeah, product manager. This is one I can use too. Um, I think I need to open this up in Safari. So product manager, they have product manager at L5, a senior, a principal, a director, and a VP. 171 base, 129 grant. Their stocks, and then your bonus. And what does that look like? And then they just kind of float through here with some stuff that they tell you about or whatnot, right? So that's that one. All right, but now, for those, because I did have some people ask me about product management, um, and what does that look like? So I'm gonna bring this link over. So I don't know if you ever heard of Product School. Well, they got on they have a Slack, and they also have a um Eventbrite with a list of their stuff. So they'll be talking to the Power of Fun from Booking.com. There's this a former product leader. Um, if you want to know more about just in general, methods to understand users regardless of budget. This is a product manager over at Spotify. Um, this one here, this is a product leader sidestepping into tech. The product manager comes from all kinds of backgrounds. Those who want to pursue this path often stumble into upon this by chance or discover it during their well-established careers. If you're one of those looking to make a conscious transition, main takeaways: what is a product manager? Transferable skills. My nonlinear path to product steps I took to sidestep into tech from during my job search. It's doing a job search, right? And then they just talk about they give a speaker bio and so forth. The next one up is prototyping to launch global products, right? And then they're just talking about the main takeaways. The interview the user will process and understand personas, prototype and iterate fast. In other words, fail fast. And this is along the lines, even in DevSecOps, you want to fail fast. Why good enough is better than perfect. And they go on a little bit more about that. But check them out. Product School for those that are interested in being product managers. Right. All right. From September 27th. Hold on. This is something I had found. Tech Lead Week. From the 27th to the 30th. Um, discover how to be a tech lead. And then it's free. From the 27th to the 30th. And I'll drop down here. They talk about their sessions. Discover critical skills you need to become a successful tech lead. Know the framework that high performing teams apply. I talked about high performing teams before from the Dora project. Understand what does it mean to be a high performing team when we're talking about this. I'll go to that in a minute. Find out best practices to put tech leadership career framework in practice. Plug and play with mentors and live the tech leadership experience, right? So they're just talking about the being a tech lead. What I was talking about with high performing teams, I posted this is in Slack already, but I'll show you how you search it. Dora reports, right? Oh, they did they announce it? Oh, good. It was 4 days ago. Oh, I'm right on time. All right on time. Oh, let's download it. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna download it. Let me go back one, but I'm gonna download it. For that, we need to get that. But the high performing team. Let me look in our Slack real quick. Let me look in our Slack real quick so I can get an example for you. Yep, yep. Let me see. That was from the 20th. And then let me see if I got the report in here. Yep, I do. Well, I got one. I got one for 2019, but that's okay. Let me download it again, and then let's save it and let's give you an example. This is from 2019. All right, so here we go. Okay, this was done with these are the sponsors. But in here they talk about executive summary, who took the survey, how do we compare, how do we improve, how do we transform, visual representation of the four key metrics, strategies for scaling DevOps, the methodology, and final thoughts, right? And so in here, they basically talk about what does it mean to be a high performing team. At least the last one I looked at. Let me see, what's number one? What are we going through here? The industry continues to move, particularly for among the elite members, elite performers, delivering software quickly, reliably, and safely is at the heart of technology transformation and organization performance. The best strategies for scaling DevOps in organizations focus on structural solutions that build communities. Cloud continues to be the differentiator for elite performers and drives high performance. Productivity can drive improvements in the work life balance and reductions in burnout. There's a right way to handle the change approval process that leads to improvements in speed and reduces speeds up stability and reduces burnout. And then they just kind of go on into what that looks like as far as that. So male, you can see that 83% male, 10% female. Others didn't specify non-binary 1%. And then they had disability here, no, yes, 6%, and then 9. Underrepresented groups, 76%, no, so forth. But here we go. Years of experience, 48%, um, more than 16 years of experience, right? And I think right here between your 6 to 10 and your 11 to 15 is when you're gonna see a bit significance here. But I think you start to see right in here. I think 6 to 11 you don't really see anything, but once you hit, I don't know, 12 and up, it depends on you. You'll start to see more than 16, most definitely, and then it's 4% didn't respond. And when I say that, I mean financially. All right, so development or engineering, 30%. um 26% DevOps or SRE, right? But that's why I go back and forth. That's why I always give you that view from the DevOps world, from the engineering world. IT operations and infrastructure, 5%. Consultant, coach, and training, and then you can see it just goes down from there. And it says participants who worked in DevOps team have increased since we began our report, reporting 16% in 2014, 19% in 2015, 22% in 2016, and are holding steady at 27% for the last 3 years, right? And this was for 2019, so the 2021 report is going to be a little different. um Technology, the financial services, retail, we're going to start seeing that legal tech falls in here. It's going to start coming into this as a industry choice. All right, it says consistent with last year, North America accounts for half of the respondents, followed by the UK, followed by the EU, the UK. We see the drop in responses from Asia falling to from 18% to 9%. Then they start talking about employees. You can see Windows, you can see Linux right here, Ubuntu, and Debian, right? Uh, and we keep going. And how do we compare? And then start comparing your organizations, right? And this is in Slack. This is already in Slack, so we don't have to worry about that. right? All right. So, what do elite members do? Deployment of frequency on demand, multiple deployments a day, lead time for changes less than a day, time to restore service less than an hour, change failure rate 0 to 15%. Low performing between once per month and to once every 6 months, between 1 month and 6 months, between 1 month and 1 month. So you see, low performing is over here. So when you're in your interview, right? One of the things you can ask: are you an elite performer, high performer, medium, or low performing team? Let this be your gauge. If they say they want to get to high performing, then you need to look at what high performing teams are doing. And you need to lay out in your head mentally or write it down. What does that look like? Do they have the people? How can you change the culture? What are they trying to change the culture to? Right? All right. So organization impacts and so forth. So this is all in that report, right? All of that is in the report, right? I think, yeah, you can get the link. Dora, just Dora, the Dora report 2021, and it should pop right up, right? All right, so here, um, this is Microsoft internship 2021 applications invited for 50,000 virtual internships. Participation certificates will be given. Microsoft internship 2021 has been announced. And online applications are being accepted from interested participants on the AICTE Tulip portal for more than 50,000 opportunities. Microsoft announced Future Ready Talent Program, which is a collaborative virtual internship for students in their second year of college and upwards. The internship is offered in partnership with All India Council for Technical. It didn't specify like location on here, so you may want to go check this out and see what they're talking about. And they may also have something for the U.S. as well, but that's something I discovered. Um, Next up, Google announces a new digital leader training and certification program. Let me blow that up. You asked for it, we listened. Today, we're announcing the Cloud Digital Learning Pathway for our first offering for business professionals that include both training and certification. The digital leader understands and can distinguish not only the various capabilities of Google Cloud core products and services, but how they can be used to achieve desired business goals. Almost similar to me, sound like sales engineering. They talk about the pathway here of that and the training courses and so forth and all that. You can drop this link. I got more stuff to go over, so I'm gonna keep pushing. All right. All right. So, I often get asked, like, about interview questions, right? So, this right here is interview questions if you were going to go down the product management route. Um, and Microsoft Manager interview questions, right? And so, here's a list of questions, right? What is the product feature that would change the landscape of DevOps, GitOps? How will you improve Google Maps in remote areas for non-tech oriented people? How would you increase user engagement on Microsoft OneDrive? Right? That's just from the Microsoft aspect. Also find some for uh, Google as well too. Um, yep, Google here is interview guide for product manager Google for guide one, guide two, guide three, and they have their stuff there. And last but not least, here's the one for Amazon for a product manager. And then what does that look like, right? They have that product design, product improvement, product design, behavioral, and so forth. And so you can find the same things for DevOps as well too. All right, and our coming to the end here. This deals with SRE role in 2021. What is expected when we analyze 30 SRE postings to find out SRE role in 2021? Gives a breakdown of the roles, what was said that was common throughout deploy and maintain infrastructure, SLO, SLIs, set up monitoring and alerts, be on call, build tools and automations, right? And they just go a little bit more into it from an SRE perspective, and so forth. Right? All right, next one up comes from Apple. All right, master degrees that give the biggest salary boost up to 80%. I feel like we should have a giveaway. I'm not gonna even I'm gonna move this over so you don't copy the link. D. What do we have we can give away? I want to see who's gonna answer this question correctly. All right. The question is,
What do we have?
yeah.
We got a whole website full of stuff. It just depends on the question. You know me. The last giveaway were socks.
Okay.
We gave away socks last time.
Don't forget to hit the like button, folks.
So that's what we gave away last time. I don't know. Is it a giveaway time? What you thinking? What you thinking?
I don't know. I'm gonna ask this question, and the question is: it says the master degrees that give the biggest salary boost. Tell me what you think the number one master degree that gives the largest salary boost on here. Tell me what you think. All right.
A Jersey T-shirt. Somebody said a Jersey T-shirt. We can give away a T-shirt.
I can give you a Bentley. Hold on.
No, he said giving away the Bentley.
Oh, I can give
There's no Bentley. I don't have a Bentley.
I can give you a Bentley. Hold on. Hot cards, Bentley. Bentley hot.
Get your old Hot Wheel.
I can give you an NFT, Bentley.
Let's see. Yeah, we can do a T-shirt.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna bring this back.
Or one of these. I mean, these raglings. You guys sleeping on these raglings, but we can go ahead and give you a T-shirt.
It says, let me blow this up so we can talk about it. So it says, but even as master's degree enrollment has boomed, borrowers, activists, and journalists have called attention to the student debt crisis and the role that master's degree play in the $1.7 trillion deficit, right, or debt. All right, but okay. So I just want to show you something right here. When you click on computer science, and let me go back to that right here from what I saw, computer science gave the average master's starting salary of 104,000 off this list. Right? That was one of the bigger ones that I saw. But what was strange to me is they didn't mention computer engineering, which was strange to me. Right? That's all they had was computer science. Right? Nobody got it. Industrial, computer science. And that kind of makes sense, right? With the push to uh, AI and machine learning, right?
Kevin, you tried it.
Right.
Buy myself another T-shirt. Actually, I'm gonna get myself a mug. I thought I ordered two, but only one came in. So
All right. Let me see. Let me see what else this one talked about. See, educationdata.org estimates that the cost of a master's degree typically runs between 30,000 to 120,000 depending on the school. Man, y'all can make that money now. Major and length of the program. For a master's degree, for instance, a master's degree in education typically costs $55,000. In arts, typically it costs 72. A master's in science typically costs 62,000. Get a job that's going to pay your master's degree. That's simple.
that's a lot of money.
Problem solved. Then they talk about the benefits of the master's degree and so forth. Get a job that is going to pay for your master's. I talked about that in episode 8, right? I talked about how my master's got paid for. Right?
Yeah, you did.
That's about
Nope, Kevin. Nobody said it.
Yep. Uh, and it also says college graduates starting salaries are at an all-time high. These are the top 10 majors that are earning. Let's go look
Let's see what that is.
and see when did this come out. September the 1st.
Oh, so this is fairly recent.
Yep. Petroleum engineering, computer programming, computer engineering, computer science. That's why I said I don't know why computer engineering went up there, right? I didn't get that. I can't. Let me say this. I know the difference between computer programming and computer science. I just don't know why they chose to differentiate the two. Uh, so I don't understand. Electrical, electronics, and communication engineer, operations research, computer and information science. Don't ask me what I guess CIS is what they're supposed to be under. Statistics, applied mathematics, and chemical engineering. Right. Petroleum engineering, like you see, computer engineering and computer science. I'm not sure. Uh, Computer programming, like, are they talking about like a boot camp? Uh, I don't know. I don't know. Do says a recent analysis of Department of Education data of 2.2 million students who graduated in 2015 and 2016 and their early careers by the public group. So this is where that information comes. The highest return on investment for graduates, right? So just letting you know what's out there, what's going on. How y'all feeling about sky computing? How you feeling about the legal world being turned on its head for in terms of coming to the cloud? What are your thoughts on that Dora report? I'm gonna download the 2021 and go back and bring that up next week, and we'll discuss that a little bit more. And then, what are your thoughts on product manager? Right, there's a product manager and looking that up. Right? And then also check out the episodes 1, 2, 3 of what's going on with the shift in work and training for uh, your your jobs and so forth. Right, there's been a huge shift coming out of that. Right. Yeah, watch the episode one more time because there's a lot. We even talked about edge computing. I even got into some salaries on edge computing. I'll do a lot more on edge computing next week in AI and machine learning. I am going to do an episode on high performance computing. I'm going to peel back the onion on that, so you can understand where it comes from. What does that look like? Another space we need to be in that we're not in, and high performance computing in cars, right? Even high performance computing in planes. So you can go high performance computing in planes, and I mean we're gonna really start looking at that, right? We're going to start looking at AI, see, AI HPC clusters. We're going to really start getting into that.
Oh, do we have somebody joining us?
Uh-oh. Let me move my screen on.
Let's
Sure.
add to the stream.
Hey, Natanya, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm awesome. Welcome back.
Good.
I have a question. First,
Okay.
I wanted to say I had my mind open last week and it was great. And it had my mind open, and I started doing tons of research on
Product management.
product manager. And
Mhm.
what I'm seeing is from my aspect where have 20 years in finance.
Mhm.
And to make the crossover, I need to learn the lingo. So I know I go in and I'm looking at the job requirements. I'm looking, what they're asking for.
Are you looking in the fintech space?
I watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos on
And
and I
so that's
actually
why
the
so that's
one
why
you
I
were
specified to stay in the fintech space because that lingo. So okay, so if I'm Robinhood or Fidelity or whatnot, and I like remember we talked about Fidelity launching 9,000,
yes.
looking for 9,000 people for their app, right?
Hmm.
So if they're starting to launch new products around the retail investor, um, what does that product look like? What does that feature look like? So to me, for me, that's along the lines of what in the fintech space a product manager would do. So that lingo goes there, not the lingo of a product manager for Google to launch a new feature to the cloud.
Right. You want to build on what you are already
Hmm.
versed with. So you don't you stack your skills, but you're not starting from the bottom. You can talk financial talk. You know that what that looks like and what that looks for that product. So that's what you're bringing to the table
Okay.
already. So the product manager skills, that's what you hone your efforts towards is okay, what does that mean for the field that I have been in for this amount of time?
Okay, the fintech space was the part that I was missing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You got to stay the fintech side because
Yeah.
you already have. Let's see. Here we go. Right here, product manager, fintech. Let me see here. So this is I just looked up some product manager, fintech. I just kind of threw some words together there, but let's look at this. All right. So define build because it's a roadmap. So when I hear roadmap and the strategy, if you already have the financial background and at this point you're going to start talking to the customer more, right?
Hmm.
So you have to combine what's important for the customer, what's important for the actual members, and when I say members, there be maybe multiple groups to get this product out to the customer hand, right? And again, fail fast. So you're gonna come up with this strategy, this roadmap, this vision to get that out there, right?
Right.
Then because of your financial background, you're going to be able to go through and look at market opportunities. You're going to have to do a competitive analysis. What are the industry trends? So you're going to have your fingers always like what is Robinhood doing that Fidelity is not doing? How can we make
Okay.
it better?
Right.
How can we do those things, right? And
Right.
then managing the backlog and those stories gives you that overview again. If you're not familiar with backlogs and stories, go to Atlassian, look up Jira, even go to GitLab and look up understanding backlog. I also sent you that. We also went over that link with Scale Agile
Yeah.
where we talked about what are these keywords, what are backlogs, what are stories, what does a
Yeah.
product manager do, what is a task, what is an epic, all those things. That is what you're gonna be bringing in to that. So then they start going down here and they're talking about product management or related industry experience, proven records, so forth and so on. This is probably more of a senior, but you can get in and go start working towards that. My advice is look at Product School. That's the one I talked about earlier because
And
it
I
is.
did watch some of those. I definitely I watched a lot of those actually.
Yeah, because they're geared towards getting more people into product management. What does that look like? And also look in that they have their own Slack group. I would go in there and see who's talking about what, if they're offering, because they do have mentor and office hours in product school.
Okay.
And I would go towards that and say, okay, here's what I'm doing. And what I will also do, just another FYI, I would go look at a product manager's resume
Okay.
In
Makes sense.
so
fintech or in the
in the
financial
fintech
industry. Yeah.
space. Yep. So that way you can get an idea of what it looks like. So now you can say, okay, I may need to change my resume. Here's what I need to be looking at. Maybe here's some tools that they're using, and then go from there.
And also
Okay.
look up look up fintech and the companies that are included in fintech, and that'll give you a better idea where it won't be so broad. And
Right.
then the ones that pop out to you, go ahead and narrow those down and say, I'm going to go search these particular industries within the fintech space, whether it may be banking or a startup or something like, something like that. Because with your 20 years, you can take that to a startup because they want you to do more with less. And how you translate that geek speak over to real world
Customer.
people, because at the end of the day, that's what you're doing. You're taking this product and all this geek speak, and you have to translate that to the customer and what that means.
Or the features. You
Where the
want you want to
features,
push
yeah,
those features to the customer, but you want to also include the important part here is you're making the customer first, and you're
hmm
taking that product and you're pushing that product out, and it almost sounds like a drug deal, but
right.
pushing that product out to the customer to get it to their fingertips to use. But again, remember when we're talking about this, we want to be able to high performing teams scale. We want to build rapidly, build fast, and fail fast so we can reiterate and say, okay, well, that didn't work, let's go back out there and try it
Right.
again. But that customer doesn't have to be external to the company. The customer could be internal to the company as well,
Oh, true.
especially when we're talking
hmm
about testing. So that you have to look at different aspects of what a customer is.
Okay.
I think it's a greater umbrella of being the solution. How is this product the solution for the company? And if it's not the solution, recommending what the customers are looking for based on the customers that you have in front of you. If they're asking for something else, they always add features. That's why Tam is always saying it's iterative, like selling fast. Like there are always it's new releases, new versions, all that other good stuff. So
Yeah,
And
I think I fell down that rabbit hole of just looking at the project manager as a whole instead of narrowing it down into fintech. That's where I was gonna get lost at.
well, you
you,
know what? It wasn't lost. You got a broad overview. Now you can just bring it back in on what that looks like.
just
Right.
for that one particular one. And I can sit down with you and go and show you how to navigate that. The other thing I would start doing is making my mind map on that, on what you discover and find. You can hand draw your mind map out if you want to, if it's easier. But I would start looking at a mind map on what you discover, names, and, well, when I say not names, but uh, what's the word?
Terms.
Characteristics and so forth,
Okay.
right? Like, hey, we need a product manager that has managed teams that did this at scale or did that at scale or what have you. Everybody doesn't come in just being a product manager. It's
No.
not, right. I think
Yeah.
product manager has been, I think it's fairly new in the last, what, 5 years maybe.
And it's
Uh,
morphing out of that customer experience type of sales lane, because
Yeah.
it and then for bigger companies, then it gets micromanaged even more with different names, because you have it on the sales side, then you have it on the customer side, then is it B2B or is it B2C? It just keeps getting chopped down. And so, based on your experience, have you been managing, because the customer is the customer, whether it's a business customer or a user, say for Joe Schmo off the street. It's just a different language and different features that are related to each of those groups.
Right. Perfect. Thank
Thank you
you.
for coming up.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
for
coming
coming up.
up.
We appreciate it.
I have been waiting for Saturday since we got off the phone. Yeah, I was like,
Well, hey, thanks for taking the initiative to even go down the rabbit hole. I mean, it takes some time, but you'll uncover so many things. Like, okay, I need to reel myself back in. It was so much.
and that's where I was at. I'm like, wait.
What did she tell me to do?
Like, I don't think this is for me.
You talked yourself out of it already.
Right.
Right, just by just start taking a hard left in, but that's what happens when you go into something, and that's why I always say just explore it, and then come back to the group and say, "This is what I found." I might have overwhelmed myself.
Mm-hmm.
Am I on the right track? Help me get on the right track, and just that simple, just coming back up. You're just like, okay, all right, that makes sense.
Right.
That makes sense.
That'll be this week's assignment.
Yes, yes. Kudos. My hat's off to you.
Great. And thank you so much. I appreciate this channel and I appreciate you both.
You're welcome. Thank
No,
you.
no worries. You have a good one.
You too.
All right, Code and Evelyn, you asked about the class. The class is the RHCSA. The channel is RHCSA, RHCE study. There is a class in there. That class has everything. If you go and look on our channel, and you look up playlists, we have some old classes from our meetup that we've covered stuff on and so forth. Let me go back and hit playlist. Not that. Do do do. So here's the playlist. Just covering different topics that we've had all the way back, right? Just all the way back. If you, I don't know how far you want to go back, but
Right. And in that Slack channel, it's things specific to that group that the
yeah,
group only has access to. So in order to get that information, you have to join that channel.
yep. So the 23rd, and remember, I don't go in order with that class. I don't go in order with none of the classes. I skip around because I think some things are easier to learn and some things you need to know before you get there. So I skip around. So what may be in that class, log rotate may be in chapter 10, and you may be, and I may introduce it in chapter 4 or something like that. So
Right.
I
And
kind
in
I
some
skip
of the
around.
videos, I'm sorry, Tam. Evelyn, some of the videos that you are looking for, they may date back to a couple of years, like intros and kernels and things of that nature. We The way that the class is taught is basically kind of skips up to date for what's needed now. So those topics, you might find that in 5 years ago, and they're not as organized as the most recent
Chapters.
videos, but we are definitely getting to that on what's in those. But again, that's the whole part of learning. Um, yeah, please search and dive in because it's some great info.
Yep. And so when we talk about kernels, like I say, I always go with this book right here, Modern Operating Systems by Tannenbaum. You can find some other ones that people talk about. You can find a lot of stuff online. I've posted some stuff online from YouTube about the modern operating system. In fact, I think Gary Geerling, he was doing this the other day. He was recompiling a kernel, so old lost art of understanding how to recompile a kernel. Well, what does a kernel do, right? That type of thing like that is a lost art to me. So you can type in like what is a kernel, and then you'll start seeing stuff like people explaining kernels, then explaining this again, the center of the operating system. What does that look like? And so forth. So you can go down that road and you can look up modern operating systems. The other guy that I referred you to was Brandon Gregg. If you hit his homepage here, and you start looking at, let me see, it's a good one to use. There's some echo going on. There we go. Not sysperf. Not that page. The Linux performance is okay because you need to understand how to control processes, but also syscalls, understanding what a syscall is. Uh, what does that mean? Uh, um, Let me see. He don't have it on his page. What I want. He just has more about performance and memory, and so forth. But that's still important. It's still part of understanding the actual operating system. I'm trying to see if he got anything on here that really stands out. He doesn't, but Red Hat, um, kernel documentation, they have a whole guide. And this is a real 7 one, but it's still relevant. Um, So you click here, kernel administration modules, kpatch, kdump, and it just gets into understanding what the kernel a kernel module is, what a kernel dependencies are, how to what are drivers, what does that mean, all that. So I would look on their site. I'm sure Fedora has some. I'm sure Ubuntu has something. I'm sure they all have something. When we're talking about tuning the kernel, uh, control groups, direct access memory protection, kernel. What is the user space versus the kernel space? So you can go user space versus kernel space, right? And then I would click on images so you can get an idea of what they're talking about, right? Here, uh, understanding what's in the user space and what's in the kernel space. What happens? What's the difference between the two? Uh, how they talk about it. This is actually a good diagram right here. Um, Let me blow that up some. So here they talk about here we're talking about the hardware platform, then the kernel space, and then the user space, the user applications, the glibc libraries, system call or system call interface, the kernel, and then architecture dependent kernel code, and then platform, and then all of that makes up Linux, right? Well, understanding what happens, what you can control in the user space and what you can control in the kernel space, the difference between the two. You're going to get that out of the operating system class and so forth. Make sense? I hope that makes sense. Anybody else backstage, D?
Nope,
Okay.
nobody else.
All right. I have a 4 o'clock one on one. Um, I hope this made sense. I hope you got a chance to look and see what we're talking about. I saw your comments, Kevin, about cloud computing. I mean, sky computing, and you're saying that was just another data center abstraction rehash. Of course it is, but it's going to be not just the data center rehash, but it's going to be uh, how are we going to handle the data, how are we going to do this, the separation, getting the results, the AI and the machine learning, just to have a one common platform where basically it doesn't matter what certification you have, is can you use all three clouds and do you know how to use those clouds together. The other one is, I said, the question was, do you all build any AI and ML projects or talk about how to build any projects that would help secure employment in there? I don't talk about those. I do know some projects. I work for a AI and machine learning company. We do projects all the time. Check out TVM. It is OctoML. It's a company. OctoML.ai. They have an open source project called TVM Apache. They just had a conference. They have another conference coming up right here. Um, December the 15th through the 21st. I mean, through the 17th is a virtual event. And they have contributors to it as well too. They also pull a lot of people out of that contribute uh, to this conference as well too. So you can see some of the things, techniques for faster end to end binarized networks, tensor core and tensorization, automatic tensor core scheduling, uh, Microsoft ARM, Xilinx or Xilinx, Qualcomm. We just partnered with Qualcomm. That's public news. And then the lightning talks as well too. You can check out the slides of TBM and stuff. So what do we do? You can get a little bit of a better idea of what we do, and we're actually you can go look us up on different sites. All right. So if you into AI and machine learning, and ML, I talked about this AI ops and ML ops. I'll get into that at another time. Won't be today, and I want to make sure I answer the questions. Do 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 do. Guys, the Slack on. Cool. Right. All right. I hope everybody feels smarter already. Appreciate you. I check you all again next week. I don't know. I may do an AMA. I may feel fancy and free and do an AMA next week. But until then, I'll see you next Saturday. No, next Wednesday. We only meet once this week for our meetup. So I may go live on Thursday again just to do a Thursday live and then maybe something different. Maybe we'll do maybe we'll bust out some Terraform code and start building some infrastructure across AWS, Google Cloud, and Azure, and then get them all communicating with each other for whatever reason that may be. Right.
Juicy.
Right. So
Thanks for
something
coming out, everybody. Thanks for
something
rocking.
different.
Thanks for rocking with us another week. We feel honored. We appreciate you. You could be so many other places on a Saturday afternoon.
We got one other question. What's an interesting home lab setup someone has showed you? It depends on what you want to do in your home lab. When I think of home lab, I'm thinking of I'm going out and buying me some some Cisco routers and switches, some Dell machines, some HP machines. I'm thinking of a whole rack getting stored out in the garage with some water cooling down the sides of the panels, and then
Black hole.
yeah, and then I'm thinking of a KVM, and remoting in and waking up on land, and it's off on its own network, and I'm doing maybe some mining on one of those, some CPU mining on some of those, and so forth. But that's what I'm thinking. But you may not be thinking that. And I don't know, but you tell me, right? All right, you all be safe. I catch you next Wednesday, and then
Thank you.
next Saturday. All right, bye, y'all.